All right. What is going on, Conscious Crew? Welcome to another riveting episode of the COUNTERSUIT platform. Happy Thursday. Hope everybody is blessed, highly favored, and damn sure having a better week than Miss Shannon Sharpe. Y'all already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, I need you guys to go ahead and thumbs up the video until we are absolutely stuck on those likes. If you got enough mobility in your fingers to click on the link, to type in the chat, then you definitely got enough mobility, baby, to hit the old nasty piece of like in the video. Not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary, because the king is in fact king. And oh yes, God, it is. Also, you guys know that if you appreciate the consistency and the work ethic of the king, you could definitely donate to the platform, $COUNTERSUIT on Cash App and or PayPal.me/COUNTERSUIT, spelled just how it is here on the platform. Last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or hell, your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the link. Just let them whores know that we're loud, we're live, and we are certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, Conscious crew? I am just queuing up one more thing that I need before we get into this riveting discussion, honey. You guys know I've been busting down the content all week, child. Back to back, 4 live streams in a day, every day, all day. I can't even let my notification system catch up, because you guys know it only cycles every 48 hours. And you want to get three bundles of notifications per 48 hours on YouTube, okay? But because the news is damn newsing, I can't sit down long enough, without having to be up here. So that's why we need every single like and thumbs up on the video. Okay, so you got to run those likes. We need all of that. Whether you part of the Replay Gang, whether you active with me in real time in these live streaming streets, or whether you are a Bush baby, please thumbs up the video. I'm gonna need all that. All right. Now let me pull up something here that I actually need from last night that we got to get into, because it's a lot that's going on. It's a lot that's been going on, and we're going to give it up. All right. Shannon Sharpe's attorney has entered the building. Okay, so we're gonna pull him up. He spoke to some of the things going. Oh my God! All right. I gotta get into the baby mamas showing their asses out real bad, showing out real bad on this Cash App, girl, showing out real bad. Okay. Shout out to my baby mama Teresa for the old nasty piece of child support chat. Okay, for T support, love, baby mama. Thank you, baby mama Teresa. My MVP baby mother King Goddess for the old nasty piece of child support chat. Well, you've been working, boo. Thank you, baby mama. You know, I always appreciate you, baby. Okay, kid gonna always come through with the damn tsunami level, baby child support chat. Shout out to my baby mamas, Teresa and King Goddess. And once again, you guys, all donation information is in the description box below. Y'all know this is shit that make me work, honey, okay? When y'all show love and the views are viewing, the likes are liking, and y'all just with the content, y'all motivate me to get up here, honey, and to indulge in all things. All right. Also, before we get into it, make sure that you guys are following me on Patreon. You guys know we get into the political, spiritual, and the true crimes content over on Patreon. And continue to send me all the tea, either to my DMs on Instagram, but you got to follow me at COUNTERSUIT on Instagram, and or email me at COUNTERSUIT@gmail.com. Okay, the street committee has been committeeing, child. You guys know, okay, Conscious Crew Street Committee member Tiffany done found the damn previous complaint against Shannon Sharpe, okay? Not the current one going on. But remember, in this new lawsuit, ambulance chasing no good big bike Tony Busby had mentioned a prior litigation between Shannon Sharpe and another young woman he was involved with, who was claiming rape and assault and distress and everything else, child. When we got the actual filing, the actual complaint, we'll be talking about that. We'll be unpacking that. Shout out to Sandra, who's another Conscious Crew member. She came through last night. She broke the whole complaint down as well. I'm going to be playing her sentiments from last night. But we got a lot of moving parts to get into, okay? So for those of you who have been sleeping under a rock, if you also missed last night's riveting discussion, you guys got to get into last night. Last night we used Shannon Sharpe's situation with what in fact now has been proven to be a 21-year-old adult female. She is not 19, okay? That is fake news. That is propaganda. That is misinformation. And I'm actually going to prove that she is 21 and was 21 when she met Shannon Sharpe, okay? Not 19 years of age. Now, that may not be much, a consolation to, some people who feel like, he should have chose, a more well-seasoned, well-fried chicken, oven-baked woman, all right? Well, Shannon Sharpe didn't, okay? He chose someone who was a legal adult, and he wanted some fun time, and old girl was with the shits, but she was not a 19-year-old who still is a legally consenting adult in the eyes of the law. He was with a 21-year-old OnlyFans model. All right, we're going to get into that as well. But before we do so, let's rewind it all the way back, because we got a lot going on, you guys. It's a lot of commentary to get into today. So let's start with all these compilations that have come out. Actually, no, let's actually start with some of the new recordings, because we haven't touched bases on the recordings, okay? So long story very short, you guys know that a lot of us are leaning more toward Shannon Sharpe's claims that this is a sexual fantasy role-playing BDSM style relationship. That is further corroborated by a lot of the race play language that is seen not only in his audios that she secretly recorded of him talking about being a big black man, choking a little white woman in public, but it's also further corroborated by the text messages that Shannon revealed of Gabriella, who is wanting a big black baby and is wanting baby gravy put in her and wanting to be tied up with a dog collar and the whole motherfucking nine, okay? Baby, they got it going on over there, dressing up like damn pigs and cows and fur babies and shit, girl, and doing the doggy style in public, girl. This nasty and funky and freaky, all right? Well, some new audio has come out of Shannon Sharpe saying just that to Gabriella, who is attempting from her side to say that she was in an abusive relationship at some point to Shannon Sharpe, and that there were two anal sodomizing events that took place in the relationship. And these audios are to prove that Shannon Sharpe meant ill will and violence against her. All right. So let's check out this old nasty piece of audio, courtesy of the It's Only Entertainment news site, child. Check this out.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Daddy.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy choke small white woman.
All right, now, and all the audios that have been released, you can also hear that these audios have been heavily edited. You can hear the lines, the demarcations. You can hear the blending, the reconnections to the audio. As somebody who uses editing software and who makes pre-recorded material as well, you know, the edits are pretty freaking obvious. Now, to that point, Shannon Sharpe's attorney, Lanny Davis, who also represented a former president of the United States of America, Bill Gates, also further stated that Gabriella refuses to actually hand over the non-edited, secretly recorded SCX footage that she is threatening against Shannon Sharpe, okay? Because even the footage that has not yet been released to the public, but Shannon Sharpe is expecting Tony Busby's salacious thick neck ass to release that footage, which I'm thinking, isn't that kind of against the law? Would that be in the realm of revenge porn if she were to release this content involving him without his consent, etc.? However, the fact that we're not hearing a lot of that pushback from Shannon or his attorneys is also giving more weight to the fact that, to his point, this was a very sexually charged transactional entanglement between him and Gabriella. However, I'm not sure if I believe that Shannon Sharpe would sign off on any OF material, especially when they're also saying that he was secretly recorded. So I'm not sure if she would be breaking a law if she were to try to publicly release this footage. And Gabriella, I'm going to say this to you now, since you have also been looking all up in my stories over on Instagram, okay? Miss Zaniga, that we're going through enough as a collective, sugar. Between the tariffs, between the Trump administration, between the price gouging, between the price of eggs. The last thing we need to be traumatized by is seeing the heterosexual Miss Netta putting a foot long between your breadbasket, sugar. Okay? That single-handedly is probably going to wipe out a good 65% of the American population alone, baby. Okay, we already living on the goddamn edge. Okay, PTSD has already set in real sky right and real sky wrong. I don't need to see a big tall ass Miss Netta dumping baby gravy all up in your bread basket, darling. So if you will, okay, I'm going to speak on behalf of all of the United States citizens, sugar. Do not release that footage publicly, baby, okay? Releasing that footage would be a matter of public concern. It would compromise national security, okay? It would potentially escalate the mental health crisis of this country. So keep that between you, baby, and your God. All right. Now, there's also been text messages that Gabriella released, Shannon also released, and Shannon's attorney, Lanny Davis, is going to speak to these text messages per the Don Lemon platform. All right. As you guys see here, this is Gabriella presenting a text message where she is apparently confronting Shannon Sharpe after one of these great excursions. Okay. She says, but I cried when you left because I begged you to put a condom on and to not put it in my rumper, and you didn't listen. I don't care what our history is. No means no, Shannon. All right. There's another text that says, I don't know how to process this. Shannon says, can I call you later? Now, these text messages are all on the same day. They're following minutes of one another. And then there are text messages here that, let me see, can we get a date on these? Okay. Now, these text messages here are from this year, back in January. The text messages that Shannon Sharpe released are from back in 2024. A text message from her saying, I want to be abused, daddy. Okay, another text message says, I want like some hardcore bondage, sadomasochism action, though. Okay, so Shannon Sharpe is alleging that it was a scam and a scheme when she hit him up in the text messages about him putting it in her breadbasket, because apparently she was referencing one of those BDSM experiences that had took place last year, but was all of a sudden now trying to confront him about something that they both consented to, because at this point she had already decided upon the scheme and the scam to set his ass up on the back end, since she was so heartbroken and felt cheated on and violated and humiliated by him fucking and blowing Michelle's back out in that infamous IG leak last year, okay? Which is also very inconsistent with you having a sentiment of betrayal against the man that you're accusing of being rude, insensitive, bizarre, weird, aggressive towards you, and even worse, raped you over the 2-year period that y'all were together. Also, I'm not sure if somebody texts their rapist and someone who anally sodomized them with such a polite, slap on the wrist. Hey, you shouldn't have raped me in my ass, The very least you could have did was put on a condom. Okay? So the next time I say no to you raping me, could you please just not proceed to rape me? Thank you. From your management. Very weird, cavalier way of addressing somebody who apparently has anally sodomized you and potentially exposed you to a bunch of STIs and STDs, because this event also was without a condom. And there's no escalation. There's no fear of danger. There's no involvement, with the police. There's no restraining order. No nothing. There's a lot of weird energy. It makes it very hard to take Miss Gabriella seriously. You guys know how I feel. We read the initial lawsuit line by line. The whole narrative from her perspective was just strange. She never ever mentioned in the lawsuit ever, from the moment she met Shannon to the time she filed the lawsuit, that there was ever a soft moment between them. She never mentioned falling in love. She never mentioned being mutually attracted to him. She never mentioned like a honeymoon phase between he and her. From her perspective, the entire encounter from the moment that they met at the gym was off-putting, insulting, and menacing, and yet she continued to stay involved with this man. And despite having no honeymoon phase, despite him doing nothing to make her feel comfortable, to make her feel seen, to make her feel honored, to make her feel loved, she continued to have consensual sex with him and allow him back into her personal space, even after the first time that he allegedly anally sodomized her, for him only to do it again. To make matters even more worse, she enters into the public domain and enter into this litigation being represented by someone who just got their asses completely whooped and exposed in the court of law, Tony Busby, who also, ironically, has multiple lawsuits against himself for battery against his female clients, for allegedly giving his own female clients and clientele STIs and STDs, defrauding some of his clients out of their workers' comp money. He also was exposed in the Jay-Z, Sean Diddy Combs lawsuit for basically following through with a frivolous, baseless, meritless lawsuit against both hip-hop moguls. And little Jane Doe revealed that Tony Busby helped her to co-angle her narrative against them both, okay? And there was literally zero factuality to the claims against Diddy and Sean Combs in that particular Jane Doe case. To make matters worse, Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's lawyer, exposed the fact that Tony Busby is a Houston-based attorney who never sought oral nor written permission to even represent or try any case in the Southern District of New York, which led to Tony Busby being completely reprimanded, because this is ABC 123 as protocol for attorneys who are outside of a particular district or outside of a particular state, who know that they are supposed to seek permission from the tribunal of the district and the city and state of the court they want a case to be tried in. This led to Tony Busby being forced to withdraw and drop the lawsuit against Jay-Z and Diddy, as well as having to drop and fall away from more than 15 other suits he filed against Diddy, frivolous suits he filed against Diddy in the court of law. So this is a complete sham of an attorney. He's gutter, he's ruthless, he's maniacal, he is a liar. He understands that the public does not know a lot about the law. He tried to misrepresent him being reprimanded and tried to twist things up, only for everything that he claimed wasn't the truth to actually be the damn truth. So not only is Gabriella's story completely crazy, and it's just missing some notable elements in terms of how this whole relationship unfolded between herself and Shannon. Once again, she's coming in with a bullshit ass attorney, and she's handing over redacted information, redacted text messages, redacted audios. Of course, Shannon, you know, he also handed over redacted text as well, because he never showed us his responses to Gabriella wanting $25,000 per serving, per cheek, okay? And wanting to put her tongue in between his bussy crack. But, you know, speaking of $25K per serving, you know, I woke up completely on the right side of the bed. And I decided, since Shannon Sharpe is out here, girl, you know, putting $25,000 per Debbie cake, the hell? I might as well shoot my shot and put my biddings in as well. Girl, because, you know, my shit sits high and looks down low. You know, I had to act Club Shay Shay, because I heard he was slapping down $25K per cheek. Tell you what, I'll discount you $24,999 per serving. Okay, I gave him a 1 cent discount, and along with an interview on Club Shay Shay to make up the difference. All right, I'll let you guys know if I hear back from Shannon Sharpe. Okay, that's if I don't have to sign an NDA. Okay, if I ain't got to sign an NDA, y'all, You know, I'm going to tell y'all all about damn business and things. What's going on, baby daddy Deshaun? What's going on, Fatima? Hey, y'all, what's going on, y'all? All right, I mean, hell, you know, baby, we under inflation. We headed toward a recession and a Great Depression, bitch, okay? I got to do what I got to do and shake what my mama gave me, baby, okay? That's collard green cornbread, homegrown American Debbie cake. Period, honey. Don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. All right? Now, as we're going through that, we also dawned upon another piece of information that has added some interesting elements to this whole thing, which is Shannon Sharpe apparently admits to offering $10 million to settle the great claims and now calls the $50 million lawsuit a utter shake down. All right. In an extremely graphic lawsuit filed in Nevada on April 20th, Jane Doe claims the 56-year-old Sharpe actually assaulted her on multiple occasions during a relationship they had that started in an LA gym in 2023. All right, you guys already know what the allegations all are. Asking for a jury trial, the Jane Doe is seeking $50 million in damages. No stranger to controversy himself, and currently in a bitter battle with Jay-Z over a now dismissed great case involving the 99 Problems rapper and Combs, BuzzFeed took to social media Tuesday to get very specific on his client's behalf as NFL vet Sharpe and his team attacked her credibility. Quote, on the one hand, Mr. Sharpe and his lawyers claim that the case filed by Jane Doe is meritless. Yet on the other hand, they now have disclosed that Mr. Sharpe offered Jane Doe 10 million big ones in writing, not to file her lawsuit. That is a true statement. Jane Doe was in fact offered 10 million to settle, but rejected that offer, choosing instead to proceed with litigation. Sharpe's team is now trying to discredit and dox her. Sharpe and his team are now, as anticipated, also attacking me. We are not going to be deterred by these ungodly tactics. All right. Now, this got some folks shook, girl. Don Lemon was about to jump up out what was remaining of his goddamn hairline, girl. Okay. When he was talking to Shannon's attorney about why in the hell would Shannon want to settle? Doesn't that make these claims appear to be true? Hold on, y'all. Well, it does. But there's a reason why sometimes people go to settle a litigation, regardless of how heinous and damaging the allegations are, simply because it's less expensive to do so, and people are mitigating and rationing out the lesser of the two evils. I can fight this thing in court, which can play out over years, lose all of my sponsorship and endorsements, deal with the sheer dark cloud ruminating over my head as this litigation play out, etc. And regardless of if I'm innocent or not, a jury still may find me guilty of something I didn't even motherfucking do. Okay? So defendants will ration out their odds of winning a case, once again, regardless of innocence or guiltiness, etc., weigh their odds and sometimes choose to settle out of court because it's easier and cheaper and less damaging to actually do so. Settling out of court is also very freaking common, you guys, okay? Settling a case may offer a way to avoid the expense of trial while still getting some compensation for the wrong committed against them. It can save both parties time and money compared with formal litigation. Now, I want you guys to look at the optics of this thing. Because typically I would say, bitch, you fight, ho. You go straight up all 5 infinity stones. When somebody is seriously accusing you of some sick, low-down-ish, like rape or pedophilia. However, in Shannon's case, I completely understand why he would be open to resolving this thing, quote-unquote, out of court, which of course is within the courts, but quote unquote out of court. Keep it from going to trial. Because there's one thing exclusively, one variable here that absolutely should matter to Shannon, that should result in any healthy, sane, intelligent person along with their legal team to say, baby, we might need to settle for, if for no other purpose, the fact that we're going up against a white woman. We're going up against the BBL version of Karen. We're going up against a super Karen. And not only does she has age on her side, I'm a little frail child. I'm a tiny 20-year-old. But I'm also a white woman. A 21-year-old white woman going up against a big black nigga in a racist Trump America, girl. Where do you sign the check, Shannon? Sign the motherfucking check, bitch. So it makes perfect sense to me why Shannon would definitely be willing to settle out of court, girl, because he can fuck around trying to stand in his innocence, shy, and alley-oop his ass right next to R. Kelly down there at Sing Sing. Baby, when white people enter the group chat as a plaintiff, girl, the battleground rules change. The social engagement changed, baby. Shannon Sharpe looked at his damn attorney and said, bitch, I'll be damned if this hoe. I lost my thought. What's my boy name? A white woman. Emmett Till my ass. Thank you, Holy Ghost. I'm on fire today. I'll be damned if BBL Karen gon' Emmett Till me. Now, I'm even more shook for Shannon because old girl said, I ain't interested in a $10 or $20 million check. I said 50 million, big black man, and 50 million is what I'm gonna get. And the reason I'm okay with walking away from a $20 million check in exchange for a $50 million check is because I know I got the race card on my side here, baby. Not only am I taking advantage of your stupid, horny ass, I'm going to take advantage of a Ku Klux Klan as America as well, baby. And we're going to let history repeat ourselves. Because you know how whiteness gives it up in these situations. So old girl is, in my opinion, banking on the racism and racial biasness of America, which is why she confidently walked away from a check that would have made most of us happy, baby. Okay? 10, 20 million. I know bitches who would have walked away for 1,500. Okay? Not to mention, Shannon Sharpe probably also been reading the room in pop culture and saw how another big black man just got alley-ooped by his Coretta Scott Karen, no other than Jonathan Majors, who despite at the time had the testimony of the driver on his side, had the footage from the nightclub on his side, had the street cam footage on his side, still was found every bit of goddamn guilty. Jonathan Majors actually had to rebrand as a black man. Okay? Baby, okay? He had to go from Coretta Scott Karen to Coretta Scott Megan. Okay? He actually had to rebrand and become an actual black man, baby. Because he got alley-ooped the same damn way, despite all the evidence working in his favor at that time. So I'm basically saying that I'm scared, bitch. I'm scared for Shannon Sharpe. Right now, for me, all the evidence is in support of his claim that this was a BDSM situation. As I said earlier, that is corroborated by all of her text messages. Because the one thing about old girl is that in her lawsuit, she told us everything aside from the fact that she wanted that abuser and that rapist baby inside of her. She told us everything else but the fact that she wanted to lick around in that man's booty crack. She told us everything else but her wanting baby gravy inside of her and a Doberman Pinscher's fucking dog collar around her goddamn neck. And let me tell you what the biggest gag was. What's going on, Uda on the go? Let me tell you what the biggest gag of it is. She had the goddamn audacity as an OnlyFans girl to enter this litigation under the pseudonym of Jane Doe. How you want to be a Jane Doe with community coochie? How you gonna have community pussy and yet want to represent yourself in this litigation as a Jane Doe? If you don't move the hell around, BBL Karen. Now, because we got a race card here, because we know race is going to absolutely play a role, just like it's playing in the Carmelo Anthony versus Austin McCaff situation. Something that ain't had nothing to do with race has now been made a situation of race because America is in fact racist and of course has to make everything a black and white situation. I'm not sure, girl, how Shannon gonna come up out of this thing, girl. Shannon Sharpe, girl, I ain't telling you the Uda. But baby, how good of a shooter is you? Baby, I ain't telling you the Uda, girl. But your only way out of this thing, baby, is you either gonna have to pull a Russell Simmons, honey, go ahead and set up your tent and cot over in Belize, in Belgium, and wherever the hell all the canceled folk go and live at, baby. Or Miss Coretta Scott Cameron, girl, she gonna have to come up accidentally missing, bitch. Cause I think she got it, baby, on the legal side simply because of age and race, darling. Baby, this is some scurry shit, girl. This is some scurry shit, y'all. It's scurry, baby. Hey, y'all, what's going on, you all? It's scurry. All right, now y'all guys know what happens every time somebody get ran down on, girl. Everybody who mad as hell, everybody who big toe you stepped on, everybody who you subtly, slightly offended, everybody who you ever had to cuss out, everybody you ever had to break up with, everybody you ever had to unfriend, you had to block, baby, okay? Everybody want to enter the group chat, girl, where you get ran down on. So, of course, Shannon Sharpe is no exception to the goddamn rule because ex-Bad Girls Club star Stephanie George calls out Shannon Sharpe for projecting after he questioned her baby daddy, Donald Rawlings, about their 23-year age gap amid his sexual assault controversy. Quote, you should know better at your big age child. So let's check out Miss Stephanie, girl, ex-Bad Girls Club alum.
Wanted to address something that has really been bothering me for the past couple of months. My son's dad is a comedian and an actor, and he did an interview with a man by the name of Shannon Sharpe on his podcast. Now, on that podcast, Shannon Sharpe did a lot of digging. My son is almost 10 years old, and my son's dad and I broke up over 6 years ago. So for him to ever try to bring me up or a family dynamic or the age gap is very, very shocking to me. It's not surprising, but I just feel like, my son's dad has a girlfriend already. Why not do digging on her? And he was making fun of him at the fact that we have an age difference of 23 years. And, you know, I was saying, why didn't you date her mom? You know, where did you guys meet? Forever 21? You know, cracking up, just asking really invasive questions. And what really hurt me, this was the kicker, was the interview, and it also had this headline on it that said, Donnell Rawlings has baby. Really wanted to address something that has really been bothering me from Bad Girls Club, 23 years younger. So crazy, insane. As you guys know, we co-parent, so I know that my son's getting older. I always think like, oh my God, one day my son's gonna see this. And I just did not like, it felt very, very icky how it was put out there. It felt really exploitive, and like, I just didn't like it. I live my life in peace. I just take care of my son, I work, and I spend time in my garden, and I just do as much as I can to contribute to my own peace. And so I just felt very disrespected at the fact that he labeled me as that. I was just some crazy 23-year-old woman that was on Bad Girls Club. I didn't like it. It sent me into a depression. It kept me up at night. It really, really bothered me. And so I was on Twitter. I prayed about it. I said, God, you know, I'm old enough to know that like, there's just certain people that are not nice. There's certain people that are very nosy from Bad Girls Club, 23 years, that will, you know, they're like, let's do this for shock value so we can get a lot of views. It just turned me all the way off. Now, last night I was on Threads and I saw his name trending. And I thought, wow, that's so weird. And then I clicked on it and I saw accuser. And, you know, he's being accused of like really horrific things. And the girl was 19 when it started. So
I lied, she wasn't 19, but we're going to get into that.
In my head, wow, you were really projecting. You went digging and you found the fact that we have a huge age gap, and you highlighted that and you tried to make fun of it, but you were actually really living that life, if not worse. I mean, this girl was a teenager. And, you know, with all the evidence that she put out there, I don't know if it's, you know, good evidence or not, or, you know, whatever. The stuff that I seen was pretty awful. I just feel like if you live in a glass house, please don't throw stones. You are very quick with the lip to ask him details on and why didn't you date? That will, you know, they're like, let's date her mom. Why didn't you date her mom?
Ooh.
Oh, did you guys meet up Forever 21? At least I was 21.
Oh, baby, that Stephanie is clocking that tea, girl. She getting into the things, baby. She might be petty hell. She's a bad girl's bitch. But baby, she clocking the tea.
I'm saying, like, nice.
It's the hypocrisy of Shannon Sharpe's democracy.
It's too young. You at your big age, you know that. You have kids that are probably older than that. It really hurt my feelings with that headline. And now look at all the headlines that you have. You know, being accused by a 19-year-old. You literally, it's just like, it's crazy how, I wouldn't say karma works, but how the universe works. I knew that there was something not right as to why he was asking these questions. It just felt off. You know, it didn't feel like it was in good faith. And you were poking fun at it and you were living worse. So, here's her mom, right?
Ooh, child. This is the viral clip that Stephanie was referring to, right? Her. Child, the internet is undefeated, y'all. And y'all run me them likes. We need all that.
Donnell. 20. Why you didn't date her mom? Why you go for the...
Girl, Shannon just proved how niggas just be lied, girl. Niggas be putting on, girl. He gonna see his ass there in that tight ass Target muscle shirt, girl. Trying to call this damn man out for dating a lady 2 times his senior, girl. Okay? Twice his junior, child. And he over there getting rim jobs by Miss 21-year-old Coretta Scott Karen. Girl, this go. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you, baby niggas. Okay, and there's a difference, y'all, between niggas and black men. Okay, these are 2 different classes of male. Okay, not black men, but niggas. Niggas will steal your shit and help you to look for the missing item, baby. Okay, will cry to your eye. Break down, roll around on fire, bitch, in the name of being innocent about what they in fact are guilty of, baby. I'm cringing. for niggas, baby. Okay, black men, y'all gonna have to flame Shannon up, baby. Okay, we taking a major L. Okay, I ain't even a part of the heteroactuality community of it all, baby. Okay, but even, baby, I feel residually hit by just the sheer embarrassment of it all, baby. Black men, we gonna have to stay on Shannon Sharpe, Nick.
Donnell didn't date her mom because. Why didn't I date her mom? Yeah, good question. No, wait, I'll ask you the question. No, because that ain't the Donnell Riley show. Love is love. And you know, love is love. I agree with you. But you like them young, though. Say Drake, I heard you. No. Don't do that. I don't like them young. I like what I love. I didn't groom nobody, son. It is what it is. But I can't take nobody my age to get what I wanted. But I look like getting a 48-year-old bitch pregnant. It's possible.
What I look like as a 48-year-old man getting a 48-year-old bitch pregnant. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Could have happened, but I didn't want them odds. Kid 23.
Baby, that's a whole situation right there, baby. Okay, baby. That's a whole situation right there. But speaking of age, you know, I ain't even got enough bandwidth to get into that. Speaking of age, there was all this kerfuffle last night. There's been all this kerfuffle the past week or two about her age, okay? She's not a teenager, and I don't even know how the hell that even really began as a narrative, because even in her own goddamn lawsuit, it says that she, in fact, was in her early 20s when she met Shannon Sharpe, okay? Here it is, right here in her own lawsuit, you guys. Defendant Shannon Sharpe is a 56-year-old former NFL star. He claims to be one of the most successful sports media personalities. Plaintiff is a young woman in her early 20s. They met in 2023 while she was working out at a gym in LA, California. Okay? Well, I found her Instagram page courtesy of the street committee team. And little Miss Coretta Scott Karen, in fact, was 21 or 22-ish, depending on the month of 2023 in which they met, because she was just celebrating her 22-year birthday in December of 2024. She met Shannon Sharpe the year before in 2023. So she either was 21 or 22. She was not 19 years of age. Okay? You see that? Let me take down this banner so you guys can see the date she posted as well. Can you see the bottom? Let me see. Can y'all see the bottom of the screen? Yep, right here. Okay, December 15th, 2024. She was 22, celebrating her motherfucking birthday, or hell, at least the date of her BBL. All right. So, not a teenager. Now, let's get back into some things. Here. Let me get Stephanie out of the way. There's a big compilation going around of all of the profits that came into Shannon Sharpe's life, girl, and warned him about the BBL Karens and the young tenderonis that he been scooping. Okay, courtesy of TMZ, Shannon Sharpe passed Monique interview, coming back to hot him and Charlamagne Shame's 30-year-old dating gap, which, you know, Charlamagne got a whole lawsuit against Jessica Reed for actually assaulting her and gang raping her, honey. Okay, so probably right message, wrong messenger. But even he is innocent until proven guilty, child. Here is that infamous clip of Monique on Club Shay Shay getting all up in his ass, and not the way that he prefers BBL Karen to do so, about liking them young girls shy. Shout out to Mama Monique.
Now I'm looking right at y'all. Let me tell y'all what Shannon needs. Okay? Let me tell you what my baby needs. He need him an old fat gal who can bake good cakes, make some smothered turkey wings, who gonna rub his feet at the nighttime, okay, and gonna have a sip of his cognac to make him feel better about himself when he come home at night. That's what Shannon needs. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. This is your auntie talking to you. Take your ass and get you an old bitch out there that can love you old. You trying to hang out with these young bitches and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it. When they want you to go for the 4th round, you looking at her like, bitch, listen, I need you want some money to go to Starbucks? Yeah, because I can't go no further. But if you get your older girl, when you get to that 4th round, she's going to say, hold on. Let me go get you some eggs and cheese and some toast with apple butter, because that's going to get your energy back up. I'm talking right to you. Shit. Because he was doing, I was going to be scared. Yes, I'm talking. And I know an old gal, she'd be good to you. Her name is Ella Doran.
All right, baby. Prophesied, maybe the prophets of renown were pulling up, girl. Shannon didn't even know that these were his get out signs of the times, baby, that the Lord was sending him human angels, child. Apparently, Bow Wow also warned athletes about IG models who see their big contracts as a payday. Now, remember, Shannon Sharpe is in negotiations. He's already a high-profile, wealthy-ass man, got multiple streams of income from his podcast, his YouTube, ESPN, baby, property, shares, stocks, bonds, bears, oh my. All right, but he also was in the works for a multi-million-dollar deal on the same timeline in which Tony Busby and Miss Gabriella was, coangling the strategy against him. Check out what Bow Wow had to say.
NBA, NFL players getting, IG models pregnant, OnlyFans chicks pregnant.
Yeah, but they dumb though. See, the girls know they can always get a nick that's 2 years into the league. Fresh out of college, come on, man. You know how long these niggas been following these Instagram girls and probably been DMing them, and they probably been left on scene. They get that 100 million, that 200. They got it. They going for gold. Just because they got that money, that don't bypass who they really truly are. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, the ball players want to be rappers. They really want to be. They listen to us going into the ring, rapping like us. They dressing like us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they get them. They way more greener than getting a rapper. Athletes is the easiest thing to get. That's why you always see them. You always see them get caught up in. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. God bless them, man. They're tripping, man. You made your first 200. You ready to give them 50 a month for 18 years? Come on, man. Baby, them athletes say they dribbling both sets of balls on the court, baby. Okay? My God, today, Lil Duval said he also tried to warn Shay Shay. Okay? He claims he had a private conversation with Shay Shay and tried to forewarn him before the unfortunate events of 2025, baby. Dr. Umar also went in the aftermath, baby, even though he got 20 million 11 delinquent ass black children out here with relaxed, pinched ponytails sticking up on top of their motherfucking head because they ain't never had a goddamn daddy in their motherfucking life. So another ratchet ass messenger who ain't got no business messaging no goddamn body but the child support office, however, he still has some choice commentary for Miss Shay Shay. Child, check out what he had to say.
Shannon Sharpe, I'm going to stand with you, my brother. Shannon Sharpe, I'm going to stand with you, my brother, on one condition. I'm getting text messages from all over the African universe telling me that Shannon Sharpe was accused of the unspeakable. I'm getting text messages telling me that Shannon Sharpe was accused of the unspeakable. I'm going to stand with my Uncle Shannon Sharpe. I'm going to stand with my Uncle Shannon Sharpe. I'm going to stand with Uncle Shay Shay on one condition. Uncle Shay Shay.
Baby.
No more
Baby, Deadbeat Umar is standing wherever the money reside, baby. He too done heard about the multi-billion dollar, million dollar ass contract Shannon Sharpe got in the works, baby. So if he know what's good, his ass will also be standing wherever the money resides.
Bunnies after this scandal. If you cannot promise me that you will never seek the company of another snow bunny, I cannot stand with you. Uncle Shay Shay. Uncle Shay Shay. I'm standing with you, Unc. I think it's a scam. I'm standing with you, Unc. I think it's a scam. I'm standing with Uncle Shannon Sharpe on this one. I'm standing with Uncle Shannon Sharpe on this one. But Uncle Shay Shay, no more bunnies after this. Can somebody confirm if he's being accused by snow bunnies or Afro queens? Is Uncle Shannon being accused of snow bunnies or Afro queens? Who can confirm? Does anybody know the race of Uncle Shay Shay's accusers? Are they black or are they white? Are they black? Is this a rice bunny situation? Is this a snow bunny situation? Is this a sand bunny situation? Is this a salsa bunny situation? Teresa Double O, if you have a co-wife, you can fill out my wifey resume. Wifey resumes must come with 2 names on them. Wifey resumes must come with 2 names on them. You know my number. 215-989-9858. You know my number. 215-989-9858. Text messages only. Text messages only. Text messages only. 215-989-9858. I need to know the race of Uncle Shay Shay's accusers. Was Shannon Sharpe accused by the rice? Was Shannon Sharpe accused by the ice? Was Shannon Sharpe accused by the snow? Was Shannon Sharpe accused by the sand? Or was he accused by the salsa? I'm staying with Uncle Shannon because I don't like when black men get taken down. I got to stand by. Yes, he's a lifetime snow bunny hopper. Yes, he's a lifetime snow bunny hopper, but that's my brother. Uncle Shannon Sharpe is my brother. I'm standing with Uncle Shannon Sharpe until the facts prove otherwise. I'm standing with Uncle Shannon Sharpe until the facts.
Standing wherever the money resides, where the money resides. All right. Now, y'all also know that apparently Cat Williams had a prophecy as well, but I did not necessarily load that nor his hairline, girl. So everybody forewarned him, okay, all the way up until the Shannon apocalypse of it all. But there is some silver lining here, girl. He might be canceled on his way to Belize and to a federal penitentiary, bitch, for graping some 21-year-old ice bunny, honey. However, at least the Shannon Sharpe Chad Ochocinco nightcap is out here collecting and tearing down Grammys and accumulating American Music Awards, baby, because they swept 2025 Webby Awards for Best Sports Podcast and Live Recording amid Sharpe's legal woes, baby. And considering how Miss Coretta Scott Karen is about to take his ass to task, he gonna need every bit of the bonuses, the Christmas bonuses, the turkey bonuses, baby, from all these goddamn awards and Oscars. His ass is goddamn winning, baby, because she's about to bankrupt that nigga. If she couldn't get the big black baby in her to at least ensure 18 years of 6-figure child support running through monthly, she gonna get it on the back end from Uncle Tom. All right, so shout out to Chad and Shannon for the most successful, ridiculous, unnecessary, culturally irrelevant ass podcast for taking up all this DEI space instead of the COUNTERSUIT platform, bitch. All right? Who need to be out here getting celebrated and honored for true substantive work I'm doing out here in these digital community streets. Now, attorney for Shannon Sharpe, accuser, releases more audio. Oh, we've already read through that. So we can actually get to Lanny Davis, who is representing Shannon Sharpe. Now, once again, this is a high-powered attorney, girl. He's represented some big wigs in the political space. Lanny Davis represented motherfucking Bill Gates, probably when he had Monica Lewinsky on her goddamn knees, driving roll up the politician police. All right? He came on for his 15 minutes to explain what's going on and doubled down and made it clear, girl, that Miss Ice Bunny is going to be countersued. All right? Let's check this out. Courtesy of, is it just me, y'all? Hey, Voice of Venus. Hey, y'all. Is anybody else attracted to Don Lemon? At first, he was just my local professor. And I ain't really make much of, the lust potential. But, as I have indulged his content daily, I'm on live. I'm going to call you when I'm done. Well, hell, you on your way to church, ain't it? All right. And call me when you leave. All right, bye. As Don Lemon waves those big, big hands around, and as I look at those big old feet, just thumping around the red carpet, it just makes his wedding ring irrelevant, baby. Don Lemon's spouse may have some motherfucking problems because your nigga is only one DM away. Mr. Lemon, your nigga is just one DM away, honey. Okay? I might need to borrow Don Lemon for one night only, baby. Now, I can take him by choice. Y'all can have that conversation, baby, or I can take him by force. So I'm going to give you time to litigate with your nigga. Okay? I'm going to give you a dignified release of your man by allowing you time to sit down and negotiate the terms. All right. Because your nigga is one DM away, baby, for getting snatched, honey. Fuck what you heard. All right. Anyway, check out Lanny Davis.
Sharpe's attorney, the famed Lanny Davis, who's represented just a number of high-profile people. And I've worked with Lanny for years, at least, interviewing him for clients and stories that he's been involved in. Lanny, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Don.
So, Lanny, what is going on here? Because we have, you know what has happened. She's accused him. I read that. You have this salacious text messages. You've got the phone calls, and we'll play some of that in a minute. But where are we? And then we have the breaking news that he is stepping aside from ESPN. So where are we? What is going on here?
Well, let me at least add to the words stepping aside and start with that, and then I'll answer your question, if you don't mind, Don. He's stepping aside. He's elected to step aside to take care of his family and to deal with this blackmail filled with lies by this individual who uses OnlyFans to make money and to act out in role playing. But the reason that's relevant is that we are going to counterclaim and file suit against her. She will be under oath, and we will show that what I'm saying is true. She's lying about anything other than consensual sex. There was never anything but consensual sex. The reason we sent out her own words, her own text messages, is that she often asked for rough sex. She, in a text message that we just recently put online, she said, I want to be in a dog collar Daddy, I want your black babies. She has been role-playing on OnlyFans. She was role-playing and asked for this with Mr. Shannon Sharpe. So we are going to prove.
Okay, so the attorney, Lanny Davis, and I just put a poll in the chat, y'all. Do y'all believe Shannon Sharpe is innocent? So the attorney just let it be known, baby, as they have been in the business of doxing this lady from the beginning, child, that the dynamics of her entanglement with Shannon Sharpe is the same type of running theme and brand of her OF material, baby. Okay, so everything is on brand.
In court when we sue her in a counterclaim. But I'm saying on the record, she's lying. We have evidence of her lies from her own words and what she was asking for in the text messages, but we will prove affirmatively what Shannon Sharpe said on his Instagram account. He's innocent. There was never a moment of other than consensual sex. And this is about blackmail and a shakedown scheme.
Okay, so people are dialing in at every second, as you know, and streaming. That's what Shannon does. I'm sure you're very aware of it. So we have more people joining us. So I just want to say that we are joined by famed attorney Lanny Davis, who is attorney for Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe's attorney, you guys misspelled attorney. Shannon Sharpe's attorney, so you can take it down and put it up, speaks. Okay, so Lanny, the fact that she works for OnlyFans, does that somehow undermine her credibility? I mean, because folks would say, they would call that, you know, shaming of some sort. If you know,
no, I absolutely am.
In the realm of her skirt was too short.
How she decides to earn a living, I'm not making any comment about her decision to use OnlyFans. That's her decision. I'm not criticizing that decision or judging her for that decision. The relevance is fantasy role playing, is what, among other things, she does on this particular site. OnlyFans. The fantasy role-playing was the explicit sex messages or text messages that we posted that she asked for over and over again, including wearing a dog collar and engaging in non-traditional forms of sex. So it's consistent with my statement, which we will prove that she's a liar, that she engaged as the news of his success and future contracts came to her attention. She took advantage to leverage the possibility of her getting paid, and she blackmailed him. And we are suing her, and we will prove that this was a scheme to blackmail involving secret taping, and we will prove that Mr. Sharpe is telling the truth, that he was never, ever involved in anything other than consensual sexual activity privately between two adults.
Okay, so let's some of these things that we have. I want to play this recorded phone call because this is the first thing that came out after she filed the suit, and then you and I will talk about it. This is a call between Gabby, right? She was Jane Doe. Now she has been identified as Gabby, but she has a different name on OnlyFans, correct?
Yes, Carly, I believe, but she has several aliases. One of them is Carly.
Oh, wait a goddamn minute, baby. We got ops on the channel, moderator's child. Can y'all believe that more than 60% of the Conscious crew is trying to act like they all of a sudden holified and gonna not support me and invade Don Lemon's goddamn marriage like that of Ukraine, even if I am gonna give him back to his man? Oh, okay. Oh, it's half and half. Okay. Okay, because baby, I know not that many of y'all got too much damn sense. Okay, it's half and half. Okay, we got half and half. Okay, we got a half and half situation. Okay, I can get with the half and half, baby. See, the no percent of the country crew are the folk who believe in my spiritual integrity and trying to appeal to my better sense. The 48% that's saying yes, baby, is trying to get me to YOLO right now because we only got one goddamn life to live, and who the fuck are y'all to tell me how not to live it? That's right, baby. I'm with it.
Yeah, and Shannon Sharpe references that in his response, that she's Carly on OnlyFans. Okay, so this is the first thing that came out. This is a recorded phone call. Take a listen, everybody.
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Daddy.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public.
I want to know how many sedatives did Don Lemon have to take in order to keep from busting out laughing as he was listening to this cringeworthy ass content between Miss Coretta Scott Karen and Shannon Netta Scott girl. I just want to know how you know Don Lemon is an actual professional because he was able to hold his composure as he had to read the text messages, listen to the audio in front of the public, girl, okay? Because it couldn't have been me, baby. I would have had to be camped down personally. But I do believe when Don Lemon started to read the salacious, filthy, funky foot verbiage of the OnlyFans model, I think that's when my lust started for Don. Because I started to imagine that he was talking to me like that about wanting to put $25,000 on this big juicy ass. You know, I started to imagine, girl, that it was him telling me that he wanted to wrap me up in a goddamn dog collar like I was a goddamn pit bull and make me submit and things. I think that's when that spirit had descended upon me, girl, and it was not the damn dove from the holy heavens. That's what it was not.
Big black guy chose small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did with the shit you did to me.
Okay,
Okay,
Wow.
so put this into context for me, Lanny. What
Please
precipitated this, and what's the context of this particular phone call?
Thank you. The lawyer who represents this Ms. Zaniga is well known for putting things out of context and posting a secretly taped telephone call without posting a text message where she has a collar around her neck and she says, "Choke me," and without posting all the other examples of fantasy role-playing that she asked for involving choking and other forms of non-traditional sex, is a deliberate part of the scheme to blackmail. She didn't tell Mr. Sharpe that she was taping. She does secret taping. We have certain evidence that a tape that she's going to use as part of her blackmail attempt was heavily edited. And when we asked to see a copy of it to determine whether it was edited, she and her lawyer said no. Now, this out of context telephone call, you can hear her voice. Her voice is not somebody who is afraid of being choked. In fact, Mr. Shannon Sharpe never, ever choked her. After this telephone conversation, they had many times of...
I'm asking that question too, Sharita. I want to know what was the shit that he did, that she did to him. Was it literal feces when he ran up in the BDSM anal cavity of Coretta Scott Karen, girl? Did she just poop all over him? Is that what she was really mad about in the text messages when she said, you know, you could have at least put a condom on, especially when you knew, girl, I had not douched anally. You knew I done been eating pasta, spaghetti, DoorDash, McDonald's, and Big Macs all damn day. That's why I ain't want you going up in my pussy hole like that. And then your nasty ass didn't even have on a damn condom. Is he talking about literal-ish? The literal-ish? Because as a gay man, baby, I'm going to tell you, baby, okay? We have to properly douche for those of us who are not in the business of being Picasso. Okay? For those of us, girl, we have an anti-painting policy in my household, girl, okay? There's got to be proper dissemination and cleaning and cleansing of the divine backdoor cavity. So I'm curious to know, too, what level of ish are we talking about? We talking about literal ish? Are we talking metaphorically, baby? We talking in parables, colloquially? What is we talking about? What we talking about? What's going on, Judge Shady Court? Hey, boo.
Sexual sex. The apartment in Las Vegas. She followed him to Las Vegas when he moved there. The apartment had 3 or 4 different secure access points. She had to come down with her telephone to open the gates. She welcomed him into her apartment with all that security. And this whole telephone conversation is consistent with what we put online, which is the desire for fantasy role playing, similar to what she does on OnlyFans.
Okay, so I'm going in order of as things happen. So that phone call came out, the lawsuit was filed, that phone call came out, and then you guys responded with releasing the text messages. Am I correct with that?
To provide context to this distorted drip by drip release of her secretly.
That's what I was thinking too, Cheryl. He should have got Alex Spiro on the motherfucking line, baby. Okay? That would have gave Tony Busby PTSD, baby. Tony Busby would have helping Miss Gabriella to find her some extracurricular ass counsel, baby. Once Alex would have pulled up, girl, that Alex is Tony Busby's kryptonite. Now I know Alex, you know, he caught up, baby, because Jay-Z getting sued down to the ground. He representing Megan Thee Stallion, baby. He tied the hell up, baby. Okay, but I would have had to quadruple the price, baby. That would have ran Tony ass right up off of there immediately, girl. I was thinking the same thing. Why he ain't get Alex and Emmanuel Law on the line?
Recorded telephone calls to try to suggest that Shannon Sharpe ever did anything but consensual sex. All the text messages, all her activity after this alleged event that she's referring to were all consensual, and we will prove that.
Okay, so then, but his response came after you put out the text messages, right? His on-camera response. That was later, or which one came first?
No, well, he immediately, I think you're referring to his Instagram comment. Yeah. I think that was a few days before.
Girl, because I'm going to be honest, baby. I'm sure that Lanny Davis was a bad motherfucker in his prime, baby, okay? Especially when he had to do the forensics on Bill Clinton slacks, baby. Okay, when he had to do the Blue Beam Project on them slacks, baby, to see if Monica Lewinsky's DNA and saliva thing, baby. Okay, I'm sure he was a bad motherfucker, but, you know, currently, girl, it's giving Sleepy Joe. I don't know if this going to be money well spent, baby. It is giving Sleepy Joe. I'm concerned, girl. This man got too many wrinkles. And his ceiling is already missing, baby. Okay, top down on the convertible, baby. You need a nigga with a strong hairline. Shannon. So, you know, baby, you know, I'm shooketh for him, child. I am shooketh.
Finally collected the text messages and posted them online.
All right, Lanny, let's listen to some of what he said. This is Shannon Sharpe's response.
Thank you.
My family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys.
It is unusual. I mean, this is a different day and age, Lanny. I mean, you and I are old enough to remember where you didn't, the lawyer either responded or it was no comment. But we're in a different age now. Why do you feel it was necessary? Why did Shannon feel it?
You know, R&B, normally I wouldn't age shame. When my goddamn freedom on the line, baby, I'm rallying in all the damn vehicles, baby. I'm counting how many freckles they ain't, how many wrinkles they ain't, baby. Okay, see, baby, we raise up, you raise up the discrimination depending on the severity of the motherfucking issue, okay? Baby, I'm going age shame, baby, when it comes to my motherfucking freedom. If I got them coin on the line, baby, every motherfucking thing matters, honey. I'm gonna need to be convinced just by optically looking at my representatives, baby. Okay? I want to be looking at discrepancy visually and have to rely on your plaques on the wall, you know, for restorative faith and confidence, baby. I'm gonna need to see the strength of it all, the testicular energy and fortitude and bandwidth of it all, just by looking at the abs and looking at the strength of the hairline and looking at the freshness and unbotheredness and symmetricalness and square jawedness of it all in the face, baby. I need to go to bed being able to just look at your persons and sleep well at night, baby, okay? Okay, now if this was a fender bender, baby, okay, Lanny Davis look like he can litigate the fuck out of an old nasty fender bender situation, baby, okay? A little minor vehicular collision case, baby. Oh, yes, God. Look like he'll tear that up in small claims court, girl. Okay? But, baby, with a bitch bussy on the line, with a nigga legacy on the line, baby, oh, I'm gonna need the optics to look just as strong, baby, as the accolades and the plaques on the bike. Oh, yes, God.
Necessary, and I'm sure he ran this by his representatives to get in front of this and get it on camera.
Well, I'm his lawyer, and he's been sued with vicious lies
Homebody said, what do you think of Shannon's fashions? I think Shannon Sharpe looked a damn fool in that damn PSA. It was given very much so Pee Wee Herman girl. It was definitely given Pee Wee girl. Okay, it was given Pee Wee Herman's senior. You know, they could have did a lot better than that. But I actually thought Shannon was doing a damn PSA from the set of Watch What Happens Live. I thought Andy Cohen ass was sitting to the left of his ass out of sight, child. Okay, they definitely could have ran a more convincing ad than that.
Are contained in the lawsuit filed by this Mr. Busby. And we're going to be suing her as a counterclaim, and we will prove she's lying. But then I said myself to Shannon Sharpe, you need to talk to your family, your friends, your fans, everybody who watches ESPN, because you are telling the truth. The truth is on your side. And when you say it yourself, rather than me or somebody else saying it, you will be believed. And I ask everybody to find that. It's on formerly known as Twitter, X, and you can watch him. And I said to him, Shannon, the television camera quickly detects somebody who's not authentic and doesn't lie. I'm kind of an expert in that subject. You will come across as telling the truth because you are telling the truth. So I hope everybody watches that tape. The jury will be seeing Shannon testify. And then when she's on the witness stand, which she must be because she filed the lawsuit, she will be asked to explain the text messages asking for fantasy role playing, asking to be choked, asking for a dog collar, asking for his, quote, black babies. This was all a plan, taped, manipulated, extortion, blackmail scheme, and we will prove that in court when we sue her in a counterclaim and she's under oath.
Okay, so a couple of things. You said that you know that from experience. You want to explain to the audience why you know that? Because you've had some high-profile cases.
Yes.
Okay, now there's going to be a counterclaim. There's going to be a counterclaim, a counterclaim, a counterclaim. Now this case is playing out in the Nevada desert, girl. Okay, so he will be pulling a reverse Uno, girl. This is going to be a legendary, racially charged, multi-dimensional litigation, girl, okay? We got the Diddy trial this year. We got Joyce Reed, her and her goddamn tabernacle being fired, baby. We got Shannon Sharpe ass with his 2025 litigation, girl. We got Megan Thee Stallion suing disgrace flat booty ass fraud radio child. This is going to be an iconic year for the courts. Very iconic.
I've been a lawyer all my life as a litigator and in courtrooms, but then I began to realize in the age of social media and in politics that it was very important that if somebody is falsely accused, that the accused directly looks everybody in the eye and tells the truth and let the viewer decide. That's why I advised Shannon to go on.
If that's the case, Shannon should have came on and said, Shannon should have showed his responses when he put out them stinking ass text messages, baby, that embarrassed the shit out of Miss Coretta Scott Karen. You know, but I think he should have also, I mean, to his lawyers, you know, point, leaned in too and say, look, y'all, I'm a freaky ass nigga. Right now, I work too goddamn much to be nurturing a relationship. So the only thing I want to do is nurture some damn pussy. Okay? So, you know, I get with the roundaway girls because they transactional. It's easy. It's breezy. Ain't no complications. You know, at this stage in my wealth, you know, I need convenience. I need luxury. I ain't got no time to be marrying no 45-year-old bitch. I ain't got no time to be, you know, sweeping, you know, a classic woman off her damn feet and shit. Bitch, y'all see how often I am in front of the screen for y'all, giving you this damn content? You know? So, I ain't retired yet, baby. I'm still in my prime. So, yes, I participate in transactional situations out of convenience. And I really don't feel like I owe y'all no motherfucking explanation about whether I eat pussy, suck dick, or like my own pussy chewed out every now and again. But considering that a bitch is accusing me of rape, you know, she done weaponized and falsified the nature of her and I connection. Yes, I like to chain bitches up. Yes, I like to keep hoes handcuffed underneath the staircase and not feed them for 3 fucking days and fuck them all up in their ass. But with their consent, of course. Of course. And you know what this helps me to do? It keeps me from having to come to work and put an AK-47 straight to Ocho Cinco's motherfucking head and blowing out of the brains of all these high-powered ass white executives who got me working harder than a Hebrew motherfucking slave. If I can't pump out all this motherfucking nut and all these motherfucking steroids, if I ain't got no healthy motherfucking outlet to let my motherfucking dark side out, especially since I'm too goddamn old to be headbutting these niggas on the field, baby, a nigga gonna be in an orange jumpsuit. So I don't need y'all judging me for the way that I litigate and mitigate my shadow work. You just do yours. Now stay tuned. Keep supporting the nigga. And don't even think y'all can fall back. Because this is a black man who should have known better about a snow bunny. Because any one of our asses can get imbeciled in a racist ass America. You ain't gotta fuck a white bitch to be ran down on by a white bitch. Now in God we trust and good fucking bye. See, baby, I just would have linked the fuck in and chewed, baby. I would have chewed, baby. Okay, baby. I would have gave y'all the Shannon Luther King speech, baby. I just would have ran down on y'all motherfuckers, baby. Okay, baby, because if we gonna be outside with it, girl, I'm just gonna go head, girl, and lean head first into the transparency of it all and call it down the damn middle. So if this was supposed to be an attempt to be transparent, baby, he definitely should have gave a little bit more. Okay, and really put that shut your motherfucking mouth on the end of that shit, baby. You know, I believe in going big. I just staying the fuck at home.
Camera on Instagram and tell the truth. People will know if you're lying, Shannon. Tell it exactly the way you feel it. That's my advice to people in this situation. If I believe
you're involved in some very high political folks too, as well. So
yes,
you know.
I have people in politics who are falsely accused, people in politics who do something wrong. My advice always is tell all your truth, tell it early, and tell it yourself. And that's the advice I've given politicians. That's the advice I gave to Shannon.
Okay, so let's go through some of these because you mentioned some of the text messages. Okay, so this is a screen. Let's put up the full one of some of the text messages here, and so
now I think that this is the part, girl, where I wanted to invade Don Lemon's marriage.
Are a number of them, but I want to go through some of them. If you can just run through them, Andy. Yes. And so we have a couple of pages of them, and I have to warn you, they're salacious, and because. You know, it says, but I cried when you left because I begged you to put on a condom on and not put it in my, you know what, backside, and you didn't listen. I don't care what our history is. No means no, Shannon. Now folks are saying that one is really damning. You want to talk to me about that one?
Yes, this is all her scheme and her plan. If she's not scheming and planning, why does she refuse to turn over the edited tape that will prove that she's schemed ahead of time, planned this, and then edited a tape to make it seem as if no means she is being taken against her will? The facts will come out when we see this tape, and he has said in the statement, this tape was edited, this whole conversation was fake, this was a blackmail scheme, a plan to squeeze money out of a man that she knew had been successful. And just at the moment of his success, she made blackmail money, and that's what this was about. And we'll prove that in court.
Okay, so I mean, folks are saying it's that one is very damning. I don't know how to process this. Keep going. Let's go through some of these, Andy. Can I call you later? So I'm just showing some of the evidence, and this is 1/2/25. I want to be abused, Daddy, from her, saying this sort of goes into what you were saying. I want like some hardcore BDSM action, though.
Yeah,
BDS is sadomasochism. She sent photographs that we could have put up, and more than we did, that are from her of bondage and what she prefers. So the notion that she's now suddenly claiming, after editing a tape and faking everything and saying no while she's asking for this, as you've just seen, are our evidence of lies and the scheme of a blackmail. And it doesn't make any sense that she came back and voluntarily.
I know what Shannon's plan is, girl. As soon as the ink dry on Michelle Obama's divorce decree to Barack, girl, Shannon ass gonna pop into 2026, engaged to Michelle Obama, baby. That's gonna be the only black woman, baby, that's gonna be able to reverse Uno this shit and give him that making good work, girl. Shannon Sharpe and Michelle Obama. Oh yes, God, it's coming, baby. 2026 to a city near you.
Wanted to see him more and had consensual sex even after her claim that she was coerced.
Okay, yeah, because this one was later. That one was 1:30. Okay, and then there's, I guess that's a picture of her. I want you to tie me up like this and abuse me, Daddy. Okay, let's keep going through. And then I guess this one would be from Shannon agreement. I'd be killing that young, you know what, kitty cat or whatever. And then I guess she was upset because of what happened with, I think, on Instagram when Shannon had the unfortunate situation of going live during, a personal act. Absolutely not. When you give me a formal apology for cheating on me on Instagram, I live and multiple other times, then we can talk about it. What's this one about?
So this is when we're in court. We'll be looking at a jury using its common sense whether this individual can be believed at all. This is a woman who has planned and schemed to set up Shannon Sharpe. Her telephone call or setup. She didn't tell him she was taping him. This shows that her plan was executed just at the moment that he appeared to be most successful with his podcast. That's called blackmail. We are also showing that her text messages were asking for...
Baby, I'm sorry. I know that the lawyer is competent and educated and well-seasoned child. Girl, but they should have got another lawyer to be the PR, to be the front runner, baby, because it's given very much a litigation between Whole Foods and Starbucks, girl. Okay, girl, like, they should have got, girl, moving along.
Very behavior that she then falsely and willfully falsely called lying said was not consensual. That's why these text messages are so important.
Let's go through a couple more here, and I won't burden you with all of them. Absolutely not. You give me, okay, that one's the same one, a formal apology. That's the same one.
R&B, you better hold your horse, girl. Hold your horse. Y'all said the same thing about Jonathan Majors. That no black woman, no self-respecting, self-loving black woman. And then Megan Good said, hold my boho braids, baby. Okay? Y'all said the same thing about Jonathan Majors, baby. And then he came through with a self-respecting, legacy black woman, girl. Hold your mule on that, R&B.
Let's go. Formal apology, he says. She says formal apology. And then keep going. I said sorry, Gabby. And I think the next one she says, but you haven't said I'm sorry for what? And you say I'm sorry, and you never say what you're sorry for, and you're going to make it right. Okay, wow, this guy, okay, keep going. What's taking so long? Either you don't have the cash to show me right now, or you're with Michelle. Which one is it, Shannon? Now, what is that about?
Yes, I was about to say, may I interrupt, but you gave me the chance to comment. First of all,
this lawyer should be doing the paperwork and should be, making sure all the legalities situated. He needs somebody young and fierce and aggressive like Alex Spiro, girl, to be out here tearing up the media, girl, doing fierce PowerPoint presentations, baby, pissing the motherfucking judge off, willing to go to motherfucking jail on behalf of his client, baby. Okay, you got to, give that sauce. We need that fire. The man's whole public image and legacy is on the line. You don't need damn Bill Gates talking about Shannon innocent, baby. This giving fucking Bill I, the science guy. Girl, Shannon might as well should have had Bill I, the science guy out here, girl, taking the podium.
Money. When she became transactional with Mr. Sharpe, with Shannon, where she demanded money from him for sexual acts, no different than what she does on OnlyFans. I'm not judging that. That's what she does. She asks for money for these role-playing fantasies. Number two, what is she angry about? She's not angry about forced sex or the R word. I hate to use it, won't repeat it, is what she's accusing him, lying that the R word applied to consensual sex. She's jealous because he was with another woman and it was live streamed. He did that. And
I'm gonna be honest, girl. It's given Mitch McConnell addressing the nation. It's given very much so Mitch McConnell addressing the American people, girl. It's given very much so breaking news, girl. Mitch McConnell addresses Congress. Very much so.
It's up to him to explain, but what the result was, she was angry, not at non-consensual sex. She was angry because she was a woman who was jealous, and lots of us have jealous feelings sometimes, and there's nothing unusual about that. But the motivation here is money, always money. He was paying her money for sex. She gets now the flavor that she can get a lot of money, and that's what blackmail is about. Paying that blackmail money isn't about admitting wrongdoing, by the way. It's what blackmailers do in order to avoid embarrassment to your family and danger to your future. People pay blackmail money not because they did anything wrong. I've seen some reporting on that.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that. Let me ask you about that. Hold on, stand by. Let me just go through some of these, and I'm going to ask you about that. Okay. I know you missed this big juicy. This is her ass. She says 25K per each cheek. Okay, money again, as you say. And then he says 10K cash. I guess it was sort of joking around there. I don't know. Maybe it's real. And send a pic or I don't know. What does that say? FT me with it? Maybe it's FaceTime. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, yes. Send a pic, or maybe that's FaceTime me with it. So maybe she was asking for personal pictures of him. Maybe his private parts. I have no idea. Okay. What the next one is, if you want to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're effing me. Okay.
This is excuse me for interrupting you. This is Exhibit A, that she's a liar, she's a blackmailer, she set him up. It's a shakedown. This is Exhibit A. She wants a.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you know, Lanny. Okay, keep going. The next one. Loved, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck, and so he loved it, and then keep going. And then I'm going to just read these for a little bit. But there are other ones that saying, I want you to put your, if you scroll through the manual, put the big one up. I want you to put, I think she said, your black baby soup or something inside of me, and I want to have your big black baby, and all of those kinds of things that people are like, oh my gosh, what the hell is going on? I want you to put your tongue in my you-know-what, and then marry you. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's pretty salacious. Now.
Can I just jump in as a lawyer? Yeah. It is salacious and it is not exactly easy to read, but it's about lying. She's accused him of the R word, non-consensual forced sex, and yet her text messages convey exactly the opposite. She wants to be dominated. She uses sadomasochism expressions. She sends photographs that we have of bondage. Do you think a jury is going to believe this liar who wants?
See, baby, he already race tone and death tone, baby. She a white woman. Yes, they're going to believe her. Yes, honey. Okay. Especially when a nigga on audio talk about big black man choke little white woman girl. They already think we heathens and thugs. Oh my. Yes, girl. White America don't give a damn about no facts when it comes to being black. Baby, the blackness is the facts. Baby, we don't get to have facts as black people when it comes to white folk, baby. We wouldn't be in this precarious predicament if that wasn't the damn case. Now back to this poll, you know, about whether I should invade Don's DMs and ask him for some damn private pictures. You know, I ain't know we had this many good people over here on the platform. I ain't know we had this many stocking wearing people on the platform, girl. Okay, I ain't know we had this many long dress to the ankles wearing ass people over here on the platform. Okay, I ain't know we had this many people, baby, who don't be buying stamps illegally, baby. Just old crasp and square foot ass people, baby. Okay, I mean, I ain't mad at it, but I had no idea, baby, we had cultivated such a pure heart space over here with such morally fine folk.
Money, demands money, and then in order to stay silent in the future, engages in blackmail and asks for money. I don't think the trial is going to go very well for her. And I think her lawyer, who's known for other practices, as Mr. Shannon pointed out, of suing black men, I don't think her lawyer is fully prepared for what's going to happen to her when she must take the witness stand because she filed the lawsuit. She can't decline to take the witness stand. She will be subpoenaed by us. If she declines, in my opinion, the lawsuit will be dismissed.
You're going to court. Is there a settlement here? Because every legal person I've seen online or in a story is like, this will settle. This will settle.
This will not settle. We are going to sue her for defamation and many other causes of action that involve.
Okay, so they are going to sue Coretta Scott Karen. They are going to sue BBL Karen, baby, down to the goddamn ground. They're about to give her that Rock Nation work.
And potentially a criminal act is blackmail. And that is what happened here. And we have the evidence of blackmail. And we
Wow, okay, so they have evidence of Coretta Scott Karen actually blackmailing. So it's given that upon circumstances and situations that there's still a big bulk of evidence, y'all, we haven't seen yet. There's still a big basket of empirical evidence that have not been submitted yet, that's more than likely going to be preserved for trial. But he used the word evidence and evidence of blackmail, girl. Wow.
prove it in court. This will not settle. She is going to be proven to be a liar. My client's reputation, his family, he's been embarrassed, and he is going to be vindicated by a jury that will find her guilty of lying, and she will have to pay heavily for these false attacks on my client.
Let me ask, I told you to hold that thought. I forget what it was about. Because you were speaking. Do you remember what it was? Is it producers? Do you remember? Because I wanted to talk to you about it. There's so many things here.
Sorry.
You guys remember, Nikki? Anybody? So you're not going to settle. Let's talk about ESPN.
Yes, please.
That's owned by the mouse. You know, clean cut, whatever. You know, it's Mickey Mouse.
Pretty much, Miss Pinkney. Pretty much. Butthurt over all that baby gravy that was going into Michelle, baby.
It's owned by Disney. Shannon Sharpe to be benched by ESPN's first Disney, ABC, whatever. Disney owns ABC and ESPN. So Shannon Sharpe to be benched by ESPN's First Take amid, you know what, our word lawsuit, $10 million settlement offer. That's what I'm going to talk to you about. So
I don't know if I'm convinced that Don loves his man more so than his man was a political and status asset to help him to navigate the corporate world in which he wanted to carve out, you know, a supreme legacy in. You know, I'm not sure if I believe Don Lemon married his man for love or married his man for status quo. But you know what I could do? I could find out. But half of y'all are against me going in, girl, to do a forensics on the relationship. Yeah, no, but I could find out.
First, you're concerned about ESPN. Does this mean permanently? Does this mean that they're backing away from him? Because they say pending a further investigation.
Well, first of all, the word benched is inaccurate. This is his choice. He elected to step aside for now to take care.
Hold on, Alexa, explain. I know he didn't because one of my good Judy's dated him. Hold on, who you speaking of, Alexa? Expound.
Of his family and to deal with this terrible nightmare of a woman engaging in blackmail, and he wants to be vindicated. So he offered and elected.
Hold on. So what you mean recently? What you mean? You got a friend who dated Don? What you mean dated him recently? Hold on. Break it down. I no 2-word responses, honey. Give me the autopsy, Alexa. Make it plain to me, as the scriptures say.
To step aside at least up to the early pregame season for the NFL, and then he will return. So that was his choice, and ESPN respected that decision.
Okay, now this is a $10 million settlement offer. Wasn't it, in fact, is that correct, or was it a $20 million settlement offer?
Well, all I've been able to do as a lawyer is to confirm that in a conference that was supposed to be kept confidential because a professional mediator who was a retired judge engaged in the mediation, that those numbers were exchanged.
Oh, Alexa, I'm gonna need you. Hold on. Here's my email. I know you at work, honey, getting to the coin. This is my email. Email me all the tea, because when I go to coangle my strategy to invade this man's marriage, I'm gonna need to know the layout and the format. That's gonna help me be even more masterful in my plan to Coretta Scott Negro Don Lemon girl. Okay, so email me that. Email me the tea, honey. COUNTERSUIT at Gmail. I'm gonna need all that. Run me all that.
And all I can say under the rules is that it was at least that number that he considered and might have paid in order to protect his privacy, his family, and his economic interests going forward. So I think that's one of the things that you said you wanted to come back to.
Yeah, that's what it was. But so
outrageous.
So why he's not guilty?
That he did this because he did something wrong. Literally, a reporter wrote that, well, he must have done something wrong if he was willing to pay that amount of money.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Explain this. Why, if he is indeed not guilty, why this? And I tried to explain this morning on TMZ is that either some folks call it a nuisance lawsuit or they want to protect their image or their job or their reputation or whatever. So, but
I'm only in the personal business of breaking up homes that were never happy to begin with, honey. Okay, those are the only homes I break up. It's the homes that ain't happy anyway. It's just a house. Okay, I break up houses. Okay, if it ain't founded on love, I'm invading, because that's a house. That ain't a home. I leave the homes alone, but the houses, I'm going to intrude.
I think people deserve to know why offer that if he is not guilty of these things.
It's a very valid question, but it's the conclusions that people are speculating about that I take strong exception to. If you go to anyone who's been blackmailed, blackmail is about taking advantage and leveraging embarrassment or something that is a private act that somebody doesn't want to be splashed all over the media. Sometimes the option, which is a painful option, when you're subject to blackmail, that's no fun, is to pay and pray. That's what happens to people who are blackmailed. They have to make the tough choice rather than letting it go out into the public and take care of it the way I am right here in the public and the way Shannon Sharpe bravely did himself on Instagram. But that's the definition of blackmail. The shock that he should say, you know, I'm willing to pay a lot of money to avoid embarrassment to my family. Why is that a shock? It has nothing to do with admitting wrongdoing. So you get my point. I don't mind.
He's 50-some years old. They're like, why? People are saying, what? Shannon Sharpe, why are you messing with this young person? There's an 8.
Because you're going to be messing with a 39-year-old soon, Don, so you might as well get ready, sugar. You going to be messing with a 39.5-year-old real soon, honey. So don't get to talking too quick, honey. Don't get the masking to being performative like Shannon Sharpe was in our interview that Stephanie was dragging the hell out of. I'm about to be putting you in the same scenario real soon.
May I respond to that?
Yeah.
There is a certain mental lapse, imperfection in the human species. And I think it applies to the male gender more than to the female gender. But both genders have human weaknesses. One of the weaknesses does involve sexual activity. And he certainly has stepped up and expressed his regret at the distress he's caused his fans, his family, all of his colleagues at ESPN. He knows that he made some bad judgments. He's not a perfect human being. The fact he went on Instagram and owned this is very important to remember. But please, everybody, it's one thing to ask the question, why would you pay this amount of money, and not finish the answer by saying, excuse me, he was under blackmail. He wanted to protect his family, his privacy, his reputation, and embarrassment from all this horrible lies being put out of context, which is exactly what has happened here.
How is he doing?
So the answer is, he's, to me, I've been through a lot of people in these challenges in public embarrassing episodes in politics, business, and life. Don, you know that. I think this man is courageous and has shown the honesty and the courage to go on camera, look into the camera, and tell the truth. And when he finally asked me whether I thought he should do something like that in the middle of a lawsuit, most lawyers would say, of course not. You make something that will hurt you in the lawsuit. My answer was, Shannon, tell the truth. You can't lie into a camera. People see it very quickly. You've got to tell the truth. And what he said in that camera, I asked everybody, you ask yourself, when a jury's seeing him, when we filed our lawsuit against her, or when you see this Instagram, is this man honest? And does this make sense that after she's charged him a lot of money, and it's always been consensual, and after this alleged forced event, she came back many times and let him in 4 different access points using her phone herself to let him in? And is this sensible that he would engage in non-consensual sex? The answer is, we are convinced the jury will say absolutely not. She is lying. That is.
Lanny, I got it. My other guest is waiting, and I don't want to be rude, but Lanny, just real quickly, what's next, real quick? What happens next in this case?
Next is he'll be back on ESPN and stay on ESPN until the NFL season begins. He's dealing now with this crisis and people like me who need to help him in the courtroom. But next is the same Shannon Sharpe is the same Shannon Sharpe. He's a good guy. He's an honest person. He's a likable person. He's an authentic person. He's been subject to a shakedown scheme, and most people will add 2 + 2 and equal 4, and that's what a jury will do when this person is on the witness stand and tries to lie under oath. If she tells the truth, the case is over, and that's what will happen from here.
All right, that Shannon's side of the story from his attorney, Mr. Lanny Davis. Thank you, Lanny.
Thank you, Don. Good to see you.
Lanny. I really do appreciate it. Okay, so Lanny Davis, and as I said, I've worked with.
Damn, baby, they got his ass out there quick, bitch. Did he even say bye? Baby, the way they just slid Lanny ass off, baby, he probably fell out of his wheelchair and every goddamn thing. How fast they booted that damn old ass man off of the sky ring, child. So we was gonna get y'all into the other case that Shannon Sharpe is tied up in with an alleged ex-lover girl. That situation is crazy as hell, y'all. Street Committee Tiff sent me all the legal documents and everything. But since this live stream already done been 2 hours, I'm going to come back in a separate live and get into that lawsuit that Tony Busby mentioned in this current lawsuit, okay? So, this is the coverage, girl. It's a mess out here. It's going up every damn day. I'm going to set up another live stream. I'm going to come back to y'all before the night is out. So keep your notifications on. Keep your Patreon notifications on. Follow me on Instagram. I always post that I'm live when I'm living. So stay tuned. If you enjoyed yourself, baby, if you got all the things, as Tip is saying, baby, y'all already know, baby, run the donations, honey, $COUNTERSUIT and or paypal.me/COUNTERSUIT, spelled just how it is here. All information, email, Patreon, Instagram, etc. in the description box below. We know that Matt Barnes' girl done spilled all the goddamn tea about how Shaq might have done came up in here and set up Shannon Sharpe because he was looking for dirt on baby. It's a lot of moving parts, child. Okay, so we're gonna get into it, child. It's so many moving parts, child, that it takes all this. So I'm gonna come back and get into the things. All right. Set your notifications. Let Don let me know that I'm coming. Both COMING and CUMMING. Okay? I love y'all, and I will see y'all later. Peace.